Next man up is the man himself, Ross.
Aye, aye.
Sorry if I repeat anything Mike said. I'll rehearse it now, I have to carry on. On behalf of myself and my wife, I'd like to thank all our family, friends, colleagues. Oh, and Andy Gibbs, it was good for you to turn up. One of the hardest parts of planning a wedding is the guest list. So well done, you will make a cut. Firstly, I'd like to thank Emma for turning up, looking stunning as ever, and for being my wife. Secondly, as you may or may not know, it's the Queen's official 90th birthday today, so I've done my bit and worn my Queen cufflinks. So I'd like to start off with toasting the Queen. Emma and I have known each other for a while now. We're both in the Surbiton Royal British Legion Band, and I have many friends here today. I knew it was probably about time to marry Emma, when one night when we were sleeping, and I say we were sleeping, when Emma rolled over, woke me up, and said, "I love you," she rolled straight back over and fell back to sleep, leaving me awake. The next day we talked about this, she knew nothing. The new in-laws. Yay! Thanks to Mike for your kind words. I'm taking some of my speech. And thank you for making me always feel welcome in your house, even though you're all crazy.
And there's a reason.
I'd like to thank you for my contribution to the wedding, so Emma doesn't have to sit here in a Primark dress.
Stop putting my knickers on now!
Much information. I did ask Mike for Emma's hand in marriage, but I'm afraid to say it was via a text message. As we were away in St Lucia and I hadn't planned a thing.
It was cheaper than a phone call.
Mike's reply was, "What are your intentions?" Something Liz's dad said to him when he asked him for her hand in marriage all those years ago.
Yeah.
I took that as a yes and moved on. As I said, I hadn't planned any of this, so in between sun cream applications, I plotted it out. For those of you who don't know, well you do now because Mike told you, how it all happened, I'll give you a quick rundown. We were in St Lucia. I took 4 photos of in the sand of the words, "Will you marry me?" On our last night, during our meal in the restaurant, I gave Emma the camera and said, "Look at these nice photos." As she went through the camera, her eyebrows raised one by one. She stood up with tears in her eyes and said yes. I then pulled out the ring, gave it to her, scared she would drop it through the pier and into the sea. Luckily this didn't happen. We then given lots of free champagne, although it was an all-inclusive resort. Emma later asked, "When did I get the ring?" So I had to remind her of the long visits to the loo I had earlier that day. On to my mum and dad, Nora and Tony. Firstly, we'd all like to thank you for an amazing job you've done bringing up your son.
Question?
I don't think anyone can argue with that, and if you do, you can get out now.
He loves that.
They've always been there through thick and thin. From me not being able to spell at school, Dad shouting at me on the sports field, or Mum accosting Adrian in a baggage reclaim to get me to where I am today. You've always been the best parents I could have asked for. Mum and Dad have been married 40 years this year. Following your footsteps. I'm shaking now. We'd like to thank you with all your help towards the wedding to stop us from sitting in the Legion right now. Mum, we'd like to thank you for helping with bridesmaids' dresses, making the girls' bouquets and the buttonholes, and we can all see what a fab job she has done. Thank you to the bridesmaids, Sophie, Alice, Yasmin, and Leah. And thank you to James for being such a smart page boy today. Please can you all raise a toast for the bridesmaids and page boy? I would now like to thank the ushers, Will and Tony. Although I think you might have misunderstood what an usher does when you were checking people's handbags and patting them down. Can I ask you both to come up, receive a small gift and a round of applause? Emma and I would like to thank Nan and Roy for your readings in the church. We were both honoured that you would take on that role. Thank you to Georgina. You did a fabulous job making all the favours and the wedding cake. Thanks to Rosie. Where's Rosie? Thanks to Rosie for helping us out with the table names and all the name faces. That was an interesting night we had. I just made that up. Thanks to Debs for helping out with all the flowers. Thanks to Lisa, who's been filming the events today. You're doing a grand job, I'm sure. And thanks to the weather. And finally, the best man, Mr. Ron Spence. Or the fat controllers he made you misunderstood for today. I've known Ron for 20 years this year. Ron was a sergeant in the band when I joined. But he didn't like me very much because I was a better drummer than him. Gradually time went on and I was accepted into the group. And Ron and I became good friends, drinking buddies, and now wedding friends. As I was his best man a few years ago. So, it was only right that I asked you to do the same thing. Great. I'd like to thank you for taking on the role and not killing me on my 2 tattoos. Although it was pretty close when I was freezing to death in Sherwood Forest. Moving on. I'd like to inform you all about the time machine I parked up in the car park. depending on how the next part of the evening goes, whether we all need to go out there and get in it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Ron Spence, Junior the Third, the best man